Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Bhavani Shankaro Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Swantasthamiswaram Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankararupinam Yamashrito hi Vakrupi Chandra Sarvatra Vandyate. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavitvaram. When we first announced these talks, the first question that everybody had was, what is Shiva Gita? Because we know Lord Shiva and we know the Bhagavad Gita, but what is Shiva Gita that nobody knows? Somebody thought it's from Shiva Purana, somebody thought it's from Valmiki Ramayana, somebody thought it's from somewhere else. So as we've heard, this Shiva Gita is a portion from the Ramacharitmanas. And the Ramacharitmanas is a telling of the Ramayana, the story of Lord Rama, by a saint called Tulsidas. Up until Tulsidasji's work, the Ramayana was only available in Sanskrit. And unfortunately, not everybody knew Sanskrit. So this beautiful treasure, this story of Lord Rama, was not available to the common man, to the common person. So he decided, I will write it in the familiar colloquial language of Ayodhya, which is known as Avadhi. And because of that, we have this beautiful text known as the Ramacharitmanas. Manas means the lake. Charita means stories. And Rama means, you know what Rama means. So Ramacharitmanas is the lake of stories of Lord Rama. And the Ramayana is called in our scriptural literature as an EThasa. So you have the Vedas, you have Vedic literature. Within the Vedas, you have the Upanishads, which as students of Vedanta, I'm sure all of you, if not many of you, have come into contact with. But sometimes, when we study Upanishads, sometimes even we study portions of the Bhagavad Gita and we feel this, actually what is being said? But nobody wants to ask the question because they look in class and everybody else is nodding their head and understanding. So maybe I'm the only one who's not getting it. So nobody asks. Actually, everybody is wondering, what are they saying? So to cater for that question, to cater for the mind that is asking that question, we have the Puranas and EThasa. They are communicating the exact same thing, but they are called the audio-visual representation of Upanishadic truths. Means they're brought alive in story form. And we know that when we have something to look at, some picture to see, our mind is much more likely to stay there. Even meditation. If somebody says meditate on the formless truth, everybody will sit down and try really hard. I'm meditating. I'm trying really hard. I mean, nobody will know what we're meditating on. But if you say, okay, picture your Ishta Devata, how beautiful they look with all their qualities and all their ornaments. Imagine them with all those great virtues. Then it's very easy. Then we can easily get lost in that meditation. So this is the function that these texts are performing. They're allowing us to get involved and for our mind to get attracted to those teachings. And specifically the portion that we've chosen in the Ramayana, in the Ramacharitmanas, is this Shiva Gita. This Shiva Gita is a dialogue between Lord Shiva and Parvati ji. And how that dialogue comes and what questions are asked to begin that dialogue, we'll see. But this dialogue is for the benefit of our understanding. This much we should be clear about. The same way when we read the Bhagavad Gita, it can be very entertaining. The whole chapter begins in this very dramatic way. Here is this great, courageous warrior, and suddenly he's having a mental breakdown, and he's saying, my hands are shaking, and I'm sweating, and I can't stand straight. So, oh, this is very interesting. What happens next? And so sometimes we read it as a bystander. This is a very nice description Sanjaya is giving of Arjuna in the chariot and Sri Krishna talking to him. Great, I am just witnessing it. But the moment we put ourselves in Arjuna's shoes, our whole experience is transformed. Because no longer is the teaching for somebody like him, the teaching is now for me. And as soon as I say that, as soon as I say, this is speaking to me, this is speaking to my life, to my experiences, it becomes transformational. It's not just some information that is being distributed. So this dialogue is happening for our understanding. And what Lord Shiva will reveal is the highest Vedantic truth. He will speak what is spoken in the introduction to the Brahma Sutras. So everybody's like, wow, I didn't know that. As well as there's a lot of devotion, there's other things as well. But this is the teaching. And for us to understand that teaching and for it to make a difference in our life, what is required? What is the first thing that is told when you study Vedanta? You have a student and a teacher. And if you are the student, then what is required? All your qualifications. So, Viveka, Vairagya, the Shat Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. And out of those, in different places, different qualities will be taken as the most important. So in one place, Shankaracharya says, without Vairagya, without dispassion and a desire for liberation, everything else is useless. But one thing that is highlighted again and again across different scriptures is the quality of Shraddha. this is repeatedly emphasized. Because Shraddha is going to be that thing that keeps us moving forward. Even when this passion seems a little bit less, when my mind is getting attached, even when that desire seems to wane a little bit, if that Shraddha is there, I will keep moving. And Shraddha we translate as faith. But in the invocation shloka, I hoped that we would have it for everybody to see, but I will tell you, you can listen, okay? What is the verse that Tulsidas Ji begins with, the second shloka? He says, Bhavani Shankaro Vande. Vande means I worship, I bow down to Bhavani and Shankara. Who are they? He says, Shraddha Vishwasa Rupino. They are of the form of Shraddha and Vishwas. So Shraddha generally is translated as faith. And Vishwas is translated as, say, also faith. Trust, faith. So why are they spoken of differently? Why are they spoken of as two distinct things? So some say that because Shraddha is feminine and Vishwas is masculine, therefore, because Bhavani and Shankara, you can't have a feminine adjective for Bhavani. I mean, masculine adjective. So Shraddha is for Umaji and Vishwas is for Shivaji. But what is the point? What is the importance of this Shraddha and Vishwas? Yabhyam vina, without which Siddhaha means very accomplished people. People who have done a lot of sadhana, people who are very intelligent, people who have studied a lot, who are learned. Without these two, which two? Shraddha and Vishwas. Without Shraddha and Vishwas, na pashyanti. They do not see. What do they not see? Ishwaram. They don't see the Lord. And who is that Lord? Swantastham. Who is abiding, who is residing in their own heart, they are unable to see. So what is the importance of Shraddha? It is that which will allow us to understand, to see God, without which we cannot see God. So Shraddha is key. And actually in life, we need Shraddha for everything. Means I'm having a lot of Shraddha right now that I'm not going to fall over suddenly if I move too much. Shraddha has to be there. When you left your workplace or you left home, you had Shraddha that you would get here. We need Shraddha for everything, for medicine that you take, for any kind of activity that you take up, you need Shraddha. Otherwise, we won't do it at all. You know those people who really believe in like Ayurvedic cures. Ayurveda is the answer to everything. It's very good. I'm not saying it's bad. But somehow this reached me, okay? Normally I don't get these things. On WhatsApp, you know, you get those forwards. Sometimes you get those good morning and this and that. And luckily I don't get that. I hope you don't either. for the sake of your peace. Sometimes you get some forwards. And this forward was about this, nowadays you can't even take the name, coronavirus. However you say it, whatever. And it said, to beat coronavirus, all you need is, guess what it said? Haldi. Means turmeric. You don't need anything else. All you need is drink hot water with turmeric every day, and you will not get coronavirus. Maybe it's true, we don't know. But that faith is there. And often that's half the battle won. If you have faith in it, and then you follow it, it will make a difference. It will help you in some way. So we need faith in our everyday life. But especially it is pointed out in the scriptures that faith is, there is no substitute for faith. And it is difficult to progress without faith. So now the first question is, what is this Shraddha that is being spoken of? Right? What is faith? So there is an etymological meaning which says, faith is that which gives you the truth. In other words, if you have Shraddha, that knowledge of the truth is as though just delivered to you. It will bring that truth to you. But very simply, let's look at it the other way. Okay, what is the opposite of faith? Doubt, right? Not a trick question. The opposite of faith is doubt. What is doubt? Samshaya. Doubt is when you have two equally valid options and you are unsure which of them is really right. Means it could be this, it could also be that. So when is doubt created? When you have two or more possibilities. This is doubt. For example, in your kitchen, you would never do this, but in the kitchen, on the counter, there is a bowl of something somebody has left there. That's why I said you would never do it. Somebody has left it, some unidentified substance. Okay, it's white in color, it's very fine, and you don't know what it is. Now, white and fine means granular. Could be any number of things, right? It could be sugar, it could be salt, it could be flour, it could be something else. Because all these possibilities are equally valid, you can have a doubt as to what it is. If you see that it is got something slightly pink in it, then you say this is not sugar, because sugar is not pink. And it's not flour, because flour is not pink. So it must be some Himalayan rock salt. So then you know, because no other option is valid, you know what it will be. So doubt is when there are many possibilities, many options. So what is faith? If we say doubt is when there are many options, what is faith? There aren't many options. There is only one. This is faith. When there is only one thing which I have accepted out of many, or apparently many options, that alone is true. It is called astikya buddhi. This idea that it is, and it is not anything else, and it is not anything different. This is Shraddha. So, for example, about God, there are so many options. Options means there are so many viewpoints, there are so many ideas, there is so much that we can choose from. Some people say God is formless. Some people say God is with form. Some people say God is without form, but he has qualities. So he is all-loving, or he is vengeful. So different options are there. Some people say, no, God is only one form, and only the form which I say, that is God. Means you can't say that it's any other way. So many options are there. But for me to have Shraddha, I take one of those and I say, it is this way. And it is this way alone. Now, interesting thing. Can you have faith in that which is uncertain? In something which is always changing? Means you can, but it will be very misplaced. And you will be disappointed very quickly. So really speaking, we can't have faith in that which is uncertain. Is faith required for that which is certain? If something is certain, something is sure, is faith required? No, because it is. There is no other option. So, if we can't have faith in the certain, and in the uncertain, and we don't need faith in the certain, then why is it so important? Why do they keep telling us? Have faith, have faith. It should just be one or the other, right? It should just be that if I know something, I know it. So why is faith required? Because when we discover that which is certain, or somebody tells us about it, okay, what is uncertain in our life first? Tell me in your life what is uncertain. You'll say, actually, I think it's easier to tell you what is. Because everything in my life, what is not uncertain? The world that we live in. Can we take anything for granted? Can't take anything for granted. From the tube that you take to work, to the people whom you work with, your own family, you cannot take them for granted. Something will happen. Everybody knows. We cannot take the external world for granted. Okay, fine. External world may change, but I know that I am here and I am as I am. Can you take your body for granted? We think, my body, I will make it do what I want it to do. This body says, you just wait. You decide to do something, I will show you. There is nothing to be certain about in this body itself. One day you will feel very good, very healthy. The next day you By mistake, yesterday you shook someone's hands, next morning you wake up and you, can't breathe, can't do anything, coughing, sniffling. So body will react how it's supposed to react. Body will not, just because you've decided something, agree to go along with your plans. And as much as we say, I'm young, body says, you may feel you are young at heart, but the body will grow old. That is its process. So body cannot be taken for certain, for granted. Okay, if not body, then my mind. This is least. Mind. I said it and you all laughed. Now you know what that means, right? Means you know that mind cannot be taken for granted in the least. Body at least will take a little bit of time to start something to happen. Mind in a second can change and can leave you feeling, where was I? What happened? So that mind is least trustworthy. It is not guaranteed at all that we can rely on our mind. So now tell me, what is certain? That which is other than all of this. That which is other than the external world. That which is other than my mind, my body. What is that? That is this Ishvara who is Swandastham, who is residing in our heart. That Ishvara, that Lord, that truth, God, self, whatever you may call it, that is certain. And therefore that alone is worthy of our Shraddha, our faith. And yet that is where we have the most trouble having faith. We have faith in everything else in the world. We have faith in our own ability. We have faith in people around us. We have faith in money. We have faith in the power of action. Somebody says, have faith in God. It's very difficult. Very difficult. And yet, that is the only thing that really we can have faith in. So, it is said, because we are unable to understand that which is the only guaranteed thing, because we can't understand it, because we can't say, I know it and I'm sure of it, therefore, you have to have faith, have Shraddha. Therefore, Bhagavan says in the Gita, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, that the one who has faith, that person will gain knowledge of this Ishvara. And on the other hand, samshayatma vinashyati. That person who has samshaya, that person, he says destroyed, vinashyati. And Shraddha forms the basis of all of our behavior. When Bhagavan says, Yo yat Shraddha sa eva saha, we will act according to our faith. As much as we may try and change what we are doing, how we are thinking, ultimately it will be where our faith is. You may have 10 people who tell you to do a particular thing, and you will not listen. But if the 11th person you have faith in, that person just has to suggest and you will do it. Because we live by our Shraddha. This is really what we live on. And when we need faith in this external world, how much more we need it for that which we can't see, which we can't even grasp with our mind. Faith is needed because we are conditioned to think if I can't see it and I can't experience it, then it doesn't exist. So faith is required. Until what point? Until when is faith required? Until something becomes my knowledge, my conviction. Until that point, faith is required. Because once I know, then it's no longer a question of I need to have faith in it. I know it. Do you need to have faith that you are sitting in Chinmaya Kirti? Hopefully you don't need faith. You know you're sitting here. Why do you need faith? Do you need faith that you are a man or a woman? You don't need faith. It is our firm conviction. We need faith for that which we cannot yet comprehend. For that which has not yet become our own conviction. To help us understand what happens when we don't have faith, the story now starts. Okay? The story is of Satiji. So Satiji was the consort. For some reason we never use this word wife. So we never say Lakshmi ji is the wife of Vishnu. We say consort. Okay, she is his. Satiji was with Lord Shiva. They were going somewhere. And you know all these devatas, they don't travel how we travel. Means they don't need to walk anywhere. Anytime they want to go somewhere, either they just appear or they have some great flying car that takes them. So Lord Shiva and Parvati, Satiji are traveling on this flying car. And they are passing over a forest. And in that forest, they happen to see Lord Ram. Because at that time, Lord Rama had been banished from his kingdom. And he was in the forest. And this is after Sita ji has been kidnapped. Okay, so if you read this description after Lord Rama, after Sita ji is taken away, you will really feel that loss that he suffers. Means he goes and he starts asking the trees, have you seen my Sita? He's asking the birds, he's asking the creepers, he's asking the animals, have you seen my Sita? He cannot bear that separation. And seems to be almost, when do you start talking to inanimate objects? that whatever is in your mind, you can't bear it. So you have to express it. Doesn't matter if a person is there or a wall is there or a tree is there. You will express whatever is in your mind. So this suffering, this sorrow is so unbearable. He is appealing to nature. That, have you seen Sita? Now Lord Shiva sees this. Lord Shiva and Satiji, okay, they're both watching. And Lord Shiva knows that this is just Bhagavan who is appearing in this form, and really he's not sad. Okay, really he is fine. He is just teaching us all a lesson. What happens when you become too attached and that person is taken away from you? This is what happens. So be careful. So Lord Shiva knows, okay, that nothing has happened to Lord Rama. And when he sees him, he thinks, his first thought is, how can I have darshan? Means, how can I go and offer my prostrations to Lord Rama? And he closes his eyes and he's just so overwhelmed with joy at seeing Bhagavan that Satiji looks at him and she thinks, hang on a second. What's going on here? Normally, okay, if you love somebody and that person whom you love has a lot of reverence and love for another person, then what is your attitude towards that other person? Or what should it be? You will also develop love and reverence because the person whom my beloved loves, I should also have love for. Ideally. Everybody is just looking. What has happened to Satiji? A doubt arises in her mind. She thinks that, how is it that this Rama, who is supposed to be Bhagavan, who is supposed to be Ishvara, is grieving like an ordinary person? Like a very ordinary person. Grieving, crying, lost his way. How is that Ishvara? And why, if Lord Shiva is bowing down to that Rama, how can he be ignorant? How can he be acting like an ignorant person and crying? So she is very upset, disturbed. That who is this Rama? I don't understand. Now, Lord Shiva looks at Satiji and he understands that something has happened. Because he can see on the face. Like many of us, when something happens, we don't need to say anything. People will just look at us and they will turn the other way and they will keep walking because they know something is wrong with this person. Don't say anything now. So Lord Shiva looks at her and he realizes that something is wrong. So he says, listen, I'm telling you that Rama is none other than Ishvara. He is that supreme truth. He has taken this form and he is doing so many things. That doesn't mean that he has become deluded. Okay, it just looks like it. He's just playing a part. Don't think that really he's become ignorant. So he explains to her. Still, she says, I'm still not sure. Again, he explains. So, okay, but how? Again, he explains. He again and again tries to explain to her. But still, this doubt will not go. What is the doubt? That how has this formless truth become this embodied prince who now appears to be ignorant and is crying at separation from his wife? So he says, and really, when somebody really has a doubt in their mind, and sometimes we become very funny with our doubts. We become attached to them. We don't really want the answer. We just want to ask that question. For whatever reason. So sometimes people will come and they'll say, I have a question. I've asked this question to Guruji, I've asked it to this Swamiji, I've asked it to this Swamiji, and this Swamiji, and this Swamiji, and now I'm asking you. Before the question even comes, I say, I will say whatever I need to, but clearly this question is not going to be resolved. Means if you've asked so many people, and still that doubt is there, what will I do? So sometimes we become very attached to our doubts. So Lord Shiva says, if you're not able to understand, why don't you just go and see? Okay? You go and check what is going on. Go and do pariksha. He uses this word. Jai pariksha lehu. Go and do pariksha, pariksha, right? Go and take a test. Means go and examine actually what is happening. Who is she about to go and test? Lord Rama. So he says, go and take your test, and then whenever you find your conclusion, come back and tell me. So she thinks, very good. Finally, I get to investigate. I don't just have to listen to whatever everyone is telling me. I can find out for myself. We feel like this sometimes, that, they keep saying it's said like this. I don't know. So she said, I will find out for myself. And at this point, Lord Shiva says that this doubt has not gone by even me explaining. And who is Lord Shiva? He is Vishwasarupa, and he is Guru. Gurum Shankara Rupinam. So now if he is not going to explain, she is not going to understand. And one beautiful line comes here in the Ramacharitmanas. Hoi hi soi jo Rama rachi rakha. Ko kari tarka badhave sakha. Very often you'll hear this. That hoi hi soi, that will happen, jo Rama rachi rakha, which Ram has said will happen. Who will start arguing? Who will start speculating what will happen, this should happen, that should happen? This is the attitude of a devotee. Now, always this question comes that, what about self-effort? Yes, self-effort is important. But a devotee has this much surrender to Bhagavan. That whatever you have decided that will happen, I will respond in the best way that I know. So Lord Shiva says, whatever will happen, will happen. Now Satiji goes to test Lord Rama, and she does something. What does she do? she takes the form of Sita ji to test that does he know who she is. Now you hear this and you already know something is going to go wrong. She takes the form of Sita ji and she goes. And they both are there, right? Lakshmanji and Lord Rama. And they both see her. And Lakshmanji sees her and he's, what is going on? And Lord Rama sees her and he smiles. And he puts his hands together and he says, Mother, what are you doing here without Lord Shiva? How have you come without him? And she feels so bad that I have taken this form and I am standing in front of Bhagavan to test him. Of course he knows who I am. Of course Lord Shiva was right. Of course he is not ignorant. And she feels so bad, so awful, that first I doubted him. Then I've done this wrong thing by taking Sita ji's form and standing here. She is full of regret. She is feeling so awful. And Bhagavan sees this. And he does something amazing. What does he do? She opens her eyes. And in front, she sees Ramji, Sitaji, and Lakshmanji. She closes her eyes. Again, she opens. Again, she sees. She looks behind, and she sees Ramji, Sitaji, Lakshmanji. On the side, on the other side, everywhere she looks, suddenly all she can see is Bhagavan. All she can see is Ramji along with Sitaji and Lakshmanji. And actually it becomes overwhelming. So she closes her eyes. And when she opens them again, nobody is there. Everybody has gone. Then she thinks, okay, I should go back now. I've taken my test. She goes back to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva says, now, what happened? Did you take his test? What happened? What did you find? And now that she's so embarrassed, she's full of regret, she says, I didn't take any test. I didn't take any pariksha. I went there and I did namaskar. I just offered my pranams. And now I'm fully convinced that whatever you said, it must be true. That Ram must be that Ishvara alone. Now Lord Shiva also cannot be deceived. So he realizes what she has done. And now if we understand this relationship, okay, Lord Shiva in Tulsi Ramayan, his Ishta Devata is Lord Rama. So Lord Rama is his Swami, his master. So Sita ji is also in the same position. She is like his mother. If he sees Lord Rama as father, then Sita ji is like mother. Now Sati ji has taken the form of Sita and come back to him. So he says, now I cannot again accept you as my wife. Because then this whole path of devotion will be lost. I mean, Lord Shiva is not just a devotee, he is the standard, means the ideal. And if he acts in a compromised way, then everybody who follows will also feel, I can also do whatever I want. So he decides that I cannot accept Satiji as my wife. So now, this story is showing us what, if we remember? What is the consequence of doubt? Consequence of doubt is we will, one, be led to doing wrong things. We will make mistakes. And two is, especially here, that the one whom we should have faith in is unaffected. Means if she should have had faith in Lord Rama is supremely unaffected by her lack of faith. If she should have faith in Lord Shiva, he is also not losing anything by her lack of faith. So who loses out when we have doubts, when we don't have faith? We are the only ones. Nobody else is losing anything by our lack of faith. So Lord Shiva decides, I can no longer have Satiji as my wife. But he doesn't tell her. Okay, he doesn't tell her, listen, I'm sorry that what you've done, you can't come back with me, anything like that, he doesn't say. So they both come back on their flying car and they start going back to Kailash. And Satiji looks at him and she knows that something is wrong. From the way that he is behaving with her, she comes to realize that he has given me up. And so she repeatedly asks him again and again, and he won't say anything. But he realizes how disturbed she is. And so it's said he starts telling her stories from the Puranas. And this is another beautiful thing, that when your mind is disturbed, when you are feeling agitated, when you feel that you have lost something, what is the best way for us to deal with that kind of mind? Don't let it go wandering anywhere. Bring it back here. Means keep contact with the scriptures at that time. When there is disturbance, when there is agitation, that is the time for us to make use of all this. That's what it's for. So he tells her stories. And then what is said is, immediately when they come back to Kailash, he remembers that he's taken this promise. Okay, so you imagine they land in the mountain. And he immediately goes and he sits down and he begins to meditate. And he gets absorbed in his meditation. Now Satiji is still so disturbed, so upset, and she has nobody to even talk to. She can't tell anybody that this is what's happened. So she is just waiting for him to come out of his meditation. And while she is, this thought comes to her, because she is really desperate. And she prays to Bhagavan. And she says, Bhagavan, if I cannot be with Lord Shiva, then let me drop this body. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to keep it. You think of some way where I can just end this life. Because this is not how I want to live. And what is being said here for us as seekers? What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of having a body? The purpose of having a body is not to enjoy the world. For a seeker, the purpose of having a body is not to gain great wealth or fame. The purpose of having a body is not to travel to many places and enjoy different experiences. For a seeker, the purpose of having a body is to approach God. And if that body cannot serve that purpose, then it doesn't serve any purpose at all. For Satiji, if she can no longer be with Lord Shiva in that body is not serving any purpose for her. Now, this is very serious. Everybody feels, oh my God, what have I been doing? We have to get to this point where this is our thought. Because if the purpose of the body was to do all those other things, nobody would feel unfulfilled in life. We are experiencing the world. We travel. There are plenty of wealthy people. There are plenty of famous people. Do those people feel they have achieved the purpose of their life? Maybe some of them do, but what is the quality of that happiness that they experience? So really we have to ask that for me, how do I understand the purpose of my life? What purpose is my body serving? When we say that the purpose of the body is to approach God, it means that body is the instrument to do sadhana. Body is the instrument to learn, to grow, to progress. So Satiji makes this prayer. But nothing happens. Tulsidas ji says that she is just suffering in this way. And after 87,000 years, now in the Puranas, the time measurement will only be like this, okay? You won't say, our meditation is maybe 8.5 minutes, if that. He says after 87,000 years, Lord Shiva emerges from his meditation. We'll say, what is this, 87,000 years? Just because you can't doesn't mean no one else can, okay? He can meditate for that long. He comes out. And Satiji approaches him. And she comes and he says, sit down. And he seats her in front. And he starts again telling various stories, various teachings he gives. But she gets distracted. Why does she get distracted? Because she sees suddenly that in the air passing by Mount Kailash, so many different flying cars are passing by. And Gandharvas and all kinds of different heavenly beings are playing music and singing and dancing and making a lot of noise. And they're all going somewhere. So she gets distracted. It's like, if you go to a restaurant and you sit near the window, you may be facing inside, but that person who is facing the window, you're trying to have a conversation with them and yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah. They'll just be watching whoever's passing by. I mean, really, they're not listening to you. So Satiji was listening, but suddenly so much commotion is created, so now she's wondering what's going on. So she asks that, Bhagavan, what happened? So Lord Shiva says, actually, the thing is, your dad is having a yajna in his house. Means he's having a sacrifice. He's doing some big puja, homa, etc. So, now already, again, you know something is, if she doesn't know and he knows and it's her father who's having the sacrifice, then something is wrong. Means, sometimes people say, it's home, you don't need to be invited, you should just come, treat it like your own home. But you should know that something is happening if you're going to go there. So she doesn't even know. But she wants to go. So she says to Lord Shiva, do you think we can go? And he says, you've had such a great idea, but the problem is we haven't been invited. So she says, no, we can still go. And he says, listen, you may not know, you may not remember, but once what happened? Your dad got really offended by me. Okay. Who is Sati's dad? Sati's father is Daksha Prajapati. So there was one big assembly, okay? All the devatas, everybody had assembled. And Brahmaji and Lord Shiva and everybody was sitting on stage. And everybody else was talking and participating, and Lord Shiva got bored, so he started meditating. Okay, so he is sitting quietly. Then Daksha walked in, and everybody saw, Daksha. So everybody stood up. Brahmaji stood up, welcomed him, said, come, please, have a seat, this, that. Everybody was very respectful, and Daksha saw that this is not even standing up. Not even wearing proper clothes. Some tiger skin, some ashes on his body, hasn't brushed his hair, and he thinks he's better than me. Can't even stand up. Not only that, father-in-law, okay, so he's feeling really bad. My son-in-law, and he's not even standing up to greet me. And Lord Shiva was meditating, so he didn't know what's going on. Only later everybody left and he came out, and oops, everybody's gone. So Daksha since then felt really bad. So he had not invited Lord Shiva and Satiji to this sacrifice. Then Satiji keeps insisting, I want to go. So Lord Shiva says, I don't think it's a good idea, but if you really want to go, then you can go. Okay? So she goes, and she arrives there, and Daksha, means her own father, doesn't even acknowledge her presence. Doesn't even look at her. And when everybody else sees that Daksha is not acknowledging her, everyone else is too scared also. So they don't say hello, they don't say anything. Nobody greets her. Tulsidas ji says, only her mother, Sadara Bhelahi Mili Eka Mata. Only her mother comes and meets her properly with respect. And her sisters, Bhagini Mili Bahuta Musukata, means they're smiling. Really, they're laughing that she's come and she doesn't realize. They're making fun. And what's happening in this yajna is one place has been assigned for each of the devatas. So she's walking around and she's trying to find Lord Shiva's place. And she realizes Daksha has not assigned a place for Lord Shiva. He has, imagine if you go somewhere, okay? You go some dinner party. And at the table, place cards are there. So all place cards of everybody else is there, and you're walking around and you're looking. Nothing for you, nothing for your partner, but you are standing there. How will you feel? But Satiji is not only the wife of Lord Shiva, she is his devotee. And when she is disrespected, when she walks into that yajna, she does not react. When she sees that Lord Shiva has been disrespected, that they have not kept a place for him, she is furious. How dare you invite everybody else and not keep a place for him? Unacceptable. She says that this body has come from you, speaking to her father. You have disrespected Lord Shiva. This body is now worthless because it is associated with you. I don't want it. Means this is the attitude of a devotee. That for me, I can go through anything. But for the one whom I love, I will not stand any insult. I will not stand anything less than what is right. So then what happens? She gives up her body in that yajna. Lord Shiva comes to know, and his ganas, immediately he sends them, they destroy the whole sacrifice. And as she is giving up her body, she has this one thought. Sati Marata Harisana Baru Maga. She asked for one thing. She says, Janama Janama Siva Pada Anuraga. That whenever I am reborn, in every life, may I have love for the feet of Lord Shiva. Now what happens next, we will see. But this whole story is to demonstrate to us what happens when there is an absence of Shraddha and when there is doubt in the mind. Bhagavan becomes unavailable, and we are the ones who lose out. That Lord is no longer even available to us. Why? Because that doubt has arisen in the mind. And ultimately it ends in her giving up her life. But immediately, what is shown now is how to develop, how to cultivate Shraddha. So first, what you should not do. Then if you're still wondering what you should do, that is now said next. And now the story of Parvati ji begins. Okay, so we'll see that tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Shripriyaji, for a wonderful first talk on the Shiva Gita. Just a few announcements of some exciting activities that are happening this month. So first of all, the celebration of Mahashivratri this Friday, with a special celebration filled with puja, abhishekam, chanting, Shiva Archana and bhajans. Mahashivratri celebrations will be held here at CK this Friday from 8 o'clock till midnight. There are opportunities for Yajman sponsorship and Prasad Pustika sponsorship. So if anybody is interested, please do speak to Abhijit Mandal, or you can leave your details in the bookshop. Secondly, Chinmay Mission is very proud to introduce Bharatnatyam classes by Galasagara, UK. These classes are being given by Usha Raghavan, director of Galasagara, UK, who is an award-winning performer and choreographer and has trained many students who have gone on to be professionals. Bharatnatyam classes will be run by Ushaji and her team here at CK from weekly classes from 5:30 till 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, and trial classes and registration start on the 25th of February this month. So please do register and participate. There will be 10 classes running in total as part of the first term. Finally, mantra meditation. Join us for a weekly session of meditation with chanting and music led by our very own Prabhat Rao. The sessions will be guided meditation sessions where Prabhat will lead by chanting mantras in morning ragas to focus our minds on the Lord. These sessions are free and registration is required. They're from this Sunday to the 29th of March from 8 a.m. till 8:45 a.m. Here at Chinmay Kirti. Further details of all our events can be found on our website, chinmayuk.org. Finally, this series of talks on the Shiva Gita continues tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. So please come with full faith. 7:30. 7:30 p.m. Please come with full faith and no doubt. Hari Om. Have a safe trip home.